workshop, and let's get started. So I think we got about half an hour to cover right now, and actually the topic that I have today is definitely covering more than a day. So let me just go on to the first slide. So this is the Enterprise SOA practice. My name is Karthik Iyengar, and I lead the Enterprise SOA practice. And we've been in action for about the past 5 years, and hopefully this is going to be something that is going to be of some use, and your spending time over here is not going to be going waste. So allow me to just walk you through about what we are going to be covering in today as part of this workshop. The rendition of what SAP is leading its customers towards. The way we see it, it is the exposing of such functionality which are built in as best practices and processes and business packages in the core underlying ERP and the business systems, which could be service enabled, repackaged and clustered once again into enterprise service bundles that define a particular business process that is reusable in nature, and helping organizations create composite applications or XApps or enterprise service bundles, and that could be consumed in a manner that you really want it. So I'll just move across to the next slide. So this is one of the slides that is one of the things which is very crisp and clear. This is one of the slides that I have borrowed from SAP. As you can see in the lowest layer, you find this IT landscape. The IT landscape in which the processes are built, in which you really have the definition of these processes which are being packaged as enterprise service bundles and enterprise services. The key driver is the centerpiece, which is the enterprise service repository. Now, whether it is a heterogeneous landscape or whether it is a unified landscape of just SAP applications, it's about making sure that you look upon service creation in two aspects: runtime and design time. Many times we get to hear from the customers and as well as from all the product development teams is that if there is an SAP XI in the landscape, and if you have SAP in the landscape, and if you really want to communicate with a non-SAP application, you use XI or PI. If the communication is between an SAP and an SAP system, use PI. If the communication is between a non-SAP application and a non-SAP application, it's a judgment call. This is what typically we get to hear about in the past. What we believe that this is totally false. Alright, so in this particular slide, what you're really getting to see is to make sure that a journey towards SOA is not something that happens overnight. It doesn't happen in a day. It is a journey that is going to be spanning a few years. So when you're planning your IT landscape, when you're planning your business scenario landscape, you need to be making sure that what you have in place should be your NetWeaver infrastructure. Or forget NetWeaver, that's very myopic and just restricted to the SAP world. You need to be making sure that you have your service-oriented infrastructure in place. Now that could mean your best-of-breed BAM tools, that could mean your BPM tools, your application server, it could be meaning your master data management, it could be making sure that you have the right kind of integration tools in place. Now, this is exactly how organizations start cluttering up their landscapes when you're looking at it from the standpoint of having this, creating a best-of-breed applications. I just want to summarize one thing. The approaches to SOA are many. The roads to SOA are many. But what you're really driving is not an SOA journey. What you're really driving is a journey towards interoperability. You're driving a journey towards seamless integration of applications. You're driving a journey towards seamless integration of your businesses and your core business units. You're creating champions, and you're making sure that you're in a position to create a very demarcated layer of your enterprise architects vis-a-vis what you really have. And this level of this layer of enterprise architects will become much more prominent and very important in your organization when it comes to your journey. And the third part, which I will kind of sum it up with, is while you're defining this journey, it is not always about cost. It's about creating strategies that are long-term, that are driven, that could be something like looking at your existing portfolio of applications, creating a strategy around the same, using SOA to retire such applications without having any impact to the business or minimizing such impact to the business of creating these reverse engineered XApps and taking a completely monetizable approach to SOA. So with that, if there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take that.